Hey guys, what's up and welcome to Young Titan World. Uh this is this is probably not your conventional review, probably not that bad kind of review going on, but it's just a little bit of a talk, a little bit of a discussion that we're going to have about relationships. Now, yes, I am the self-appointed talkologist on the matter, and maybe my 2 cents are not exactly necessary in this field. But I feel like in this world, there are two types of people. There are those who are in romantic relationships, and there are those who are not. Now, mind you, when I say romantic relationships, yes, it does involve situationships and friends with benefits kind of ordeals. All those fall into a weird sort of romantic setting, which is not exactly detailed because no one wants to put a title on them because they're afraid that if they do, it's going to end up becoming a situation that they cannot deal with. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's just get into it. Now, all the time you have people who are in relationships, right? They find a girl they like, they date for a while, and when the time is right, they decide that they want to spend more time with them. Thus, we have the relationship. One becomes the boyfriend, one becomes the girlfriend. They choose to coexist, being dependent on each other. Now, with respects to what kind of childhood you've had, there's a tendency to overbear your partner or not even confide in them at all. It's very rare to have someone who has that sort of balance where they know what time to share experiences with you and just leave you to yourself, or the kind of person who really knows what you need at every point in time. Because honestly, when you're in a relationship, all of your flaws are out in the open. Okay, they're not exactly inconspicuous or invisible. People can actually see what you are made of, and they can decide whether they like what they're seeing or they can handle it. Now, I personally don't think that it's a bad thing if you have a relationship with someone who has flaws and doesn't hide them. That's great. You can build off from there and you can grow. But then there are those who don't like showing their flaws. There are those who are trying to be impeccable in every turn of their existence. They're trying to be the absolute gods of relationship. They want to be there on time. They want to listen to your problems. They want to let you get to know them. And they never want to be at a spot where they're comfortable in their relationships. They always want to be on top. Now that I've given you the variety of characteristics you can see in a relationship, regardless of all that I've said so far, some of them are not satisfied with being in a relationship. In a relationship, they have only one person they're going to have the input and output of feedback, so it's basically a one-way thing. They have only one person to confide in, and it can get a little boring for them. So in order to spice things up, they decide to network. They decide to link themselves to other people, whilst letting each of those people not be aware of the other's existence. Thus, we have the term cheating or entanglements. Multiple entanglements because they feel like they deserve more people in their life who adore and cherish them. Now, your views about as to whether that is okay or it's downright disastrous is up to you. I don't really have a side to pick with this, but I only want to talk about the after effects of such that situation. Okay, people always try to justify a lot of things these days. So even if you found yourself being a one, if you find yourself in such a situation where you have multiple people who are in the same relationship with the same girl, you wouldn't even know how to feel about it. So some would even consider that if you're part of such a situation, you're lucky, because some people are all alone and they have nobody. At least you have one person that you're just supposed to share with other people. Maybe that's what others think. Maybe not. I don't know. Right now, I'm just trying to be the voice that is able to cover every sort of mindset that exists. And I may not be able to do that perfectly every time. But I can tell you this, there is a strain as to how much you can cope with such a situation. The copium for such a situation is very, very delicate. And if someone is able to break your mind to that level, it probably means that you don't find relationships as sacred. Because if it's supposed to be a person that you are spending the rest of your life with, well, of course, there has to be boundaries. There is a limit as to what can be shared, who can be shared, and at what time. You want to justify why you have so many people that confide in you. You have a gift. Someone likes you. Another person likes you. And since you like both of them, you don't want to let them down, so you decide, hey, here's a bright idea. I'm going to keep this one, and I'm also going to keep that one, but I'm not going to let each other know that they exist. Now, that doesn't seem wrong, right? You're just trying to get the best of both worlds. If one lets me down, the other is just ready to take the helm. And if he starts fucking up, I can find a replacement because I'm irresistible, apparently. Now, consciously, anyone who has that sort of mindset is probably a psychopath. A person who is trying to think outside the box a little too much. And if you're going to live with a person like that, chances are you lose your fucking mind. Or you become a worse psychopath than they are. And honestly, when you even start exhibiting the same signs that they do, they will feel attacked and offended that you're doing the same thing that they are. Because they can't stand it. They want to be the only people that have the ability to pick multiple people. Because if you do that, it's offensive to them, and they can't live with it. So, hence the conundrum. Hence the situation where you can't decide whether doing what they do is beneficial to the relationship or just breaking away from it. You know, I know guys get down bad sometimes. They get no bitches. And so any girl that comes their way, the slutty kind who's not looking for a relationship, the one who is just open to new experiences, is the only options that they have. So they chase after them. They'll give them their hearts. They're gonna break into 1,000 pieces. And then that would usher in a Sigma male generation again. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't really work that way. Sometimes some girls can really break a guy's heart and they can never bounce back from it. They become a shell of their old selves and they die inside and then they die in real life. Because as much as they would want to have people come in and rescue them from their hellhole, once the girl that has betrayed them cuts them, once the girl who betrays them leaves, they have no reason to exist. Because one thing that they confided in decided to upset them and let them down in such a harsh and terrible way. And they can never walk back from that. So they do actually commit suicide, just so you know. But at the end of the day, what do you think? Why would you want someone to take advantage of the security and the peace that you have? Wouldn't you rather just jerk off and go back to your normal life? And that's the only reason why. That's the only reason why you're chasing after a bitch, because you want something to push that wiener into. I hesitated because, usually when I say stuff like that, my breath gets hitched. I'm not a pervert though. It's just a phenomenon that I've not been able to explain with science yet. But yeah, why why jeopardize your peace and your quiet for the chaos that such a relationship brings? Sometimes people don't understand their worth. They look into the mirror and they see a loser. They see a person who has not achieved anything yet. They see a person who's chasing after a wild dream, a person who's doing something incredibly stupid and no one is backing them up. They see a failure and they have no faith in even what they're doing, even though they've poured their heart and soul into it. And so they wish another person would back them up. There are so many reasons to chase after a relationship that sometimes it might not even be the most ethical, but you can be assured that there is always a reason to jump into a relationship. Whether it's ludicrous, whether it's spot on, or whether it's just downright basic. I want someone to love me. I want a relationship that can keep me going. I want a shoulder to cry on. I want a friend to talk to. There are so many reasons, so many. But unfortunately, it's not really that which gets the gold. The cheaters, the liars. At the end of the day, they could end up with the most faithful person in the world. They could end up with the genuine hearts that mean no one any harm. And they will get corrupted. Why? Well, why do you need to know why? Hmm? Because let me tell you this, you can be an angel on this earth and still get the worst person to stay by your side. You have done nothing to deserve the best person. Being a good person doesn't mean that you're gonna get good things. That's one thing that you're supposed to understand and come to terms with. Be grateful if you get something good. But if you get something bad, do not be surprised. Do not ask God, why? Why is it so fucked up? Thank Him and move on. There's gold. There's a lesson to be learned. I You can't find comfort in complaining about everything that happens to you. Oh no, she betrayed me. Oh no, he was a liar. Oh no, I've been cucked by the girl that I gave my everything. Trust me, that sort of rabbit hole is overrated. It's unnecessary. You deserve the world, but until you start seeing, until you start believing that, you're only gonna be met with those who are trying to rip your heart out and put it in a blender. Because that's what people do. I'm not saying that everyone on this earth is a downright backstabbing a backstabbing swine, but they are of course out there. And as the saying goes, a sucker is born every minute. And people are not up for being empathic or sympathetic these days. They want someone that they can chomp on because they relish when you're down. They're happy when you're emotionally distraught because of them. Because that's what they want. They want someone to swoon over them. And you're giving them just enough fuel to do that. So please reconsider your stance rather than just blurting out your feeling of betrayal. The fact that your heart's been broken to 1,000 pieces and you cannot find the strength to get back up. Get the fuck up. Stop whining over them. Stop bitching about them. Because honestly, they feel good when you do that. You run back to them. They feel the best. They feel the absolute best when you're crawling on both knees, asking them to take you back because they know they've won, and you're just another conquered estate that they're just gonna have to deal with later. You're gonna find more bigger fish to fry, those who are gonna actually put up a challenge, and you're just gonna be in the corner thinking that you won them back, but in reality, you've lost them. Life sucks. 99.9% of the time, other people make your life suck even worse. And you're not gonna get the best deals. But you're gonna have to push through them. Because if you don't, who will? You're gonna give up on yourself? If you give up on yourself, that's it. If you give up on yourself, that's the literal end for all that you have sought to bring. You need to internalize what emotions you feel and ground them. You want to cry? Good. Lock yourself up in your room. Think about the situation that has torn you to pieces and cry your eyeballs out. If you want to increase the music so that people won't hear you, do that. Feel the pain. Let it course through your veins and understand that you are going to put that into your tank as fuel. Prove them wrong. Twist the twister. Turn things around for yourself. Sometimes a lot of people think back on their exes, on those who did them wrong, trying to understand the situation. What made it so? How did we get to this? Bro, fuck. Listen, they betrayed you, and you would be able to find a reason, but what's the point? So that you can go back to them and try and talk things out? They let go of something important. You. You, a world of possibilities. You, a world of great potential. You, a world of absolute bliss. And they sacrificed that for a minor glimpse of pleasure that may or may not have existed in someone else. Forget them. Work on what is you. Become better. Work on yourself. What are your interests? What do you want to do with your life? Think about your future. Think about what happens when you're the only person that is there for you. Forget that you have family. Forget that you have friends. What is going to be your life 30 years from now, 20 years from now? Are you going to reside in your mom's home? Are you going to reside in your dad's home? Are you going to be dependent on your friends just to have a meal to eat? Or are you going to be fucking balling, enjoying retirement like a king? It seems so ridiculous to me how these footballers who don't even have any gray hair are retiring, but they actually are. They are freaking retiring at such young ages. I mean, what? They consider 40 years to be old? Nigga, they look younger than 40. They don't even look a day past 30. Just focus on yourself. Instead of trying to divide your attention among the number of bitches that exist on this planet, focus on one motherfucker. You. Focus it on yourself. Become your confidant. The bitches, they come and go. Post, Post Malone, Juice World, they sing some incredible truths. Juice said all girls are the same. Posty. Posty said, bitches, bitches are the same. If you let one go, another one's gonna come and take its place. Now, I don't mean any disrespect, but honestly, bitch can be identified as anyone that hurts your feelings, so before you decide to go and try and hurt, try and misjudge what I just said, you can go and fuck yourself. What? What am I saying? I'm not saying that. Take care of yourselves. Young time now.